Today, I'm in the mountains of Colorado.
And in this video, I'm going on a Colorado mountain road trip from Denver all the way to Breckenridge and hitting up some of the most iconic, some of the most secret, and some of the most historical restaurants along the way to deep dive into the Colorado mountain culture, to look into which pizza place started a whole new pizza style built inside an old brothel, and which restaurant along the way is more of an art gallery than a place to get the best tacos in Colorado. It all starts right here in Denver, so let's hit the road and dive into the breathtaking Colorado mountains. I'm Dāv Kaufman. I travel to distant, exotic places and places a little closer to home to indulge in the culture and cuisine from the familiar to the extreme. There's always an open seat at my table for you, and sure, I'll pick up the tab. This is Dāv Kaufman Eats the World. So I'm going to start my Colorado mountain food tour right here in the town of Morrison, right here in the foothills. Red Rocks is right over there, but what I came to this town for is right across the street. This is The Cow, an eatery, and I've been told that at this place you can find one of the best breakfasts in this area of Colorado. Let's go across the street and get some breakfast. So here at The Cow, you're going to find a lot of unique breakfast items, and breakfast here is served from 7 a.m. until 11 a.m., but there's a particular dish that I had to come all the way here to try, and that's this bad boy right here. This is the Angry Cow. It's a layered dish that starts with shredded hash browns, 2 eggs, to which I got mine over easy, 2 sausage patties, cheddar cheese, and then they top it with their famous green chili. And it's served with a slice of toast, which I got sourdough. And there's a couple of different ways that you can get this dish. I just basically elected to get the Angry Cow as it was served, and this looks absolutely amazing. I'm just gonna cut into this, let that yolk just kinda soak into everything, and you can see all the layers. All right, so I've got a big fork full of every one of these ingredients. I've got that sausage, the egg, a lot of that chili, and definitely have it coated with that pork green chili. All right, let's try it out. Oh man. Oh wow. One of the things that I absolutely love about a dish like this that has so many ingredients is that with every bite you get different flavors that all complement each other. But what I really enjoy about it is that not only is there a little spice to that sausage, but there's definitely a lot of spice to the pork green chili sauce that is smothering this entire dish. So not only do you get all of those flavors, the savoriness, the starchiness of the potato, but you also get a lot of spice. I absolutely love this breakfast, and I'll tell you, a friend of mine suggested that I come here to get this dish, and I am so thankful that he suggested this to me, because if he didn't suggest this to me, chances are I might have missed this, and that would have been a total bummer. This is one amazing breakfast dish. All right, so I'm going to finish this up, and then from here we're heading, I guess, deeper into the mountains, higher up into the mountains, to try a pizza that is so uniquely Colorado, it's actually called Colorado-style pizza. I bet you didn't know Colorado actually has its own style of pizza, and that is going to be our next stop. Next up, I'm in the mountain town of Idaho Springs, and this place has a culinary claim to fame, and that's that this is where the Colorado Mountain Pizza originated, right here down the street at Bojo's. We're gonna head down there and check it out. And right here is exactly what I came here for. This is the Colorado-style mountain pie. It's Colorado-style pizza. And again, it originated right here in this location in Idaho Springs. And they have pizza here pretty much any way you can imagine, but what I got here was the Mother Load. It's their own signature pizza sauce, but it's topped with salami, pepperoni, meatballs, bacon, Italian sausage. They don't stop there. They then add Canadian bacon, and loaded up with mozzarella cheese. Anytime I go out for pizza, I'm a fanatic about their meat lovers pizza. The more meat you can cram onto a pizza, the better. And this pie right here has all those meats just piled on, just the way I love it. But it's not just the meats and the cheese that make this pizza unique. It's that crust. Their dough is made fresh every day, using honey, agave, and olive oil instead of sugar. And right over here, we've got an assortment of their signature honeys. And the way that you eat a Colorado mountain pizza is you eat the pizza first, but you leave the crust for last. And then you take that crust and you dip it in honey and you eat that as a dessert. And each one of these pieces is, I mean, you can feel the weight of that pizza. And look at that cheese just dripping right off of there. And it's got all those meats. All right, I'm wasting no more time. I'm trying out the mother load. Whoa. I'm telling you, within that first bite, I can instantly see why the Colorado style pizza is getting to be more and more popular all the time. That is such an amazing flavor combination. You've got all of that cheese, you've got all of the spices from all the different meats. But I'll tell you, when I eat pizza and I rate pizza, I usually rate it on 3 different categories. 1 is the pizza sauce itself, 2 is the toppings on top of the pizza, and then 3, and I think most important, is that crust. A crust can literally make or break a pizza, and it doesn't matter how great the toppings are. If the crust really is too oversweetened because they use too much sugar, or if the crust doesn't have its own personality and its own flavor, it can ruin an entire pizza. This crust actually augments the flavor of this pizza. So you've got all of that savoriness from all of that meat. You've got the spice, you've got the salt from the meat. It doesn't add any unnecessary sweetness because they've loaded it down with sugar like so many other pizza restaurants do. Again, it's the crust that can make or break a pizza, and this crust absolutely made this pizza. This is an incredible slice of pizza. Oh. That is absolutely amazing. So one of the things that makes this restaurant even more incredible is the history of the buildings that this restaurant is in. Like in the room that I'm in right now, this used to be a brothel. And right up there is where the girls would all line up, and the miners or whoever that were passing through the mountains would come here, and they could basically pick out a girl that they wanted that were leaning right over that railing right behind me. There's a lot of history in this building, but it doesn't just stop in this room. So right there is a door to an old hotel, and you walk up these stairs that's kind of off limits to the public, but I've made a new friend in Josh, the manager over here, so he's gonna show me all the history of this building. So each one of these was a hotel room.
Now we're using it mainly sort of like that's our corporate storage office.
Look at that, you still have the old numbers.
Yeah.
So this was the old hotel.
Yeah, like you saw the brothel, and they would bring them up here. And then you would drink right here in the bar.
So you'd go downstairs, grab yourself a girl, come up here to the bar,
yeah.
And then if you liked her, you brought her into the hotel over there. So it was a brothel, it was a hotel, and it was a mining exchange.
Yeah.
So you went out, got your gold, came here, sold your gold, went right to the brothel and the bar. Okay, and today we eat pizza. I don't know who had it better. So here in the town of Silverthorne, you're gonna find this place. This is the Red Mountain Grill, and this might be one of the most unique restaurants you're gonna find here in the Colorado Mountains. So before I do a deep dive into the food here, we've gotta talk about this amazing decor. The decor in this restaurant may be the most incredibly artistic and eye-pleasing decor of any restaurant that I've been to in a long, long time. Every little piece of the design of the interior of this restaurant is almost deliberately intended to be pleasing to the eye and to make you stare at it instead of just create an ambiance. The interior of this restaurant has a mid-18th century Mexico feel to it, and that's actually deliberate. In fact, the doors that lead to the bar are actually authentic mid-18th century wooden doors that have been imported from Mexico, brought to this restaurant, and those are the doors that separate the rest of the dining room from the bar. And those doors are actually older than some US states. You don't just eat in a place like this, you come here to experience the art in the decor. It's like visiting an art gallery and a history museum all combined to one in a single restaurant. So this place doesn't just specialize in Mexican and American food. It brings that genre of cuisine to an entirely new and artistic level. And what I have right here is a testament to that. This is the Surf and Turf Baja Tacos. It starts with grilled marinated skirt steak, and on top of that are breaded Mexican street corn shrimp. And on top of that is sriracha aioli and a guacamole spread, and topped with a very colorful red cabbage. Served on the side is Mexican rice and black beans. You know, you can go to a lot of Mexican restaurants anywhere in this country, let alone here in Colorado, and get tacos, and they're just kind of there. They're just tacos on a plate. Here, the presentation of the tacos on this plate, as soon as this plate is delivered to your table, is unlike any taco plate that you're gonna find in any other Mexican restaurant. They really have taken the time and the creativity to make the presentation of their food as enjoyable as eating it. And with that, I'm gonna take one of these tacos. You can see that the steak is cooked to a perfect medium rare, and I really appreciate the breaded shrimp. These are breaded with that Mexican street corn breading that I anticipate is going to make all the difference in the world. And with that, I'm digging in, we're trying it out. Exactly as I hoped it would be. There are a lot of flavors happening. That sriracha aioli is flavorful, but just the slightest amount of spice. But the skirt steak is cooked absolutely to perfection. And again, I was right with the breading on that shrimp. It adds so much flavor. It adds a nice crunchy texture to this taco. But now that I've raved about all the ingredients, we've got to talk about these taco shells here. These aren't just store-bought flour tortillas that they basically get from a distributor and throw a bunch of taco fixings in. These are actually a corn and flour blended tortilla. So you get the best of both worlds. A lot of people like their tacos on corn tortillas. I happen to like my tacos on flour tortillas. I don't mind the corn tortillas, but when you have corn and flour blended tortillas, this is something that makes these tacos even more unique than tacos that you're gonna find at a lot of other Mexican restaurants. You know, as soon as you walk into a place like this and see the decor in here, you expect the food to be next level. And with these tacos, it absolutely is. You know, a lot of us think that tacos are just tacos. But let's face it, sometimes you can get really creative with tacos. Other restaurants, they're just meat, cheese, lettuce, let's call it a taco. These aren't just a taco, these are a work of art. So I'm gonna finish these up, and we are almost to our final destination in Breckenridge at a place that all the locals have told me I have to check out as soon as I get to Breckenridge. So I'm gonna finish this up, we're gonna hit the road, and we got one more stop on our Colorado mountain food tour. Finally made it to our final stop here on our Colorado mountain food tour. This is the town of Breckenridge, and if you know Breckenridge, then you know this place right behind me. This is downstairs at Eric's, and I was told by a number of people that if I'm coming to Breckenridge, this place definitely has to be added to my list. And if you know Breckenridge, then you definitely know Eric's. It's an institution in this town, and reportedly, they have the best burgers to be found here in Breckenridge. We're gonna go in and find out if that's true. So right here at downstairs at Eric's, we got one of their burgers. This is Eric's Double Wide. It's 2 4-ounce burgers stacked with American cheese, chopped lettuce, tomatoes, sauteed onions, and pickles. And what makes this amazing is that it's served in layers with mayo and Thousand Island dressing. Sign me right up. And it's served with a copious amount of fries, just like any good downstairs bar burger basket should be. They've got really good classic music playing over the loudspeakers, which is sure to get me a copyright strike. YouTube, don't give me a copyright strike on this, for crying out loud. It's playing in the background. Come on. They're gonna anyway. All right, so I've cut this bad boy in half. Let's take a look inside. Oh yeah, that is a good looking burger. You can see the layer of burger, you can see the layer of cheese, you can see those onions, that mayo, that lettuce, and that Thousand Island dressing. This looks like an amazing pub burger. Let's dig in and try it out. You know, let's face it, there is just something about a good old American downstairs pub burger that is kind of like the best food that you can get anywhere in the world. And comment below if you agree with me or disagree with me on that, but I could live the rest of my life very happy eating nothing but pub burgers and fries. That's kind of what I do anyway. But this one is stacked with those 2 patties. They pile on those grilled onions, and I gotta be honest, I don't really enjoy either raw onions or grilled onions on my burger, but this somehow makes it all work. That mayo, that Thousand Island dressing, the cheese, all of it put together creates a really amazing flavor sensation in this burger. I will have one little bit of criticism here though, and as you can see, that bun is a little bit too big for this burger. When you have a bun that is this big with ingredients that kind of don't match the size of the bun, it really detracts from the flavor of all the ingredients within the burger, and basically what you're really tasting is just a lot of bread, and I don't really like burgers that have buns that are too big for their burger like this one. But that is just the only criticism that I have. The rest of this burger is absolutely amazing. So if you're ever making that road trip from Denver out here to Breckenridge, these are a couple of places that you absolutely have to put on your list to stop by and get either a really good taco, a really good breakfast, or stop here at the end of your journey for a really good burger here at Eric's. So guys, if you're hungry for more, check out that video right there. If you're starving for more, check out that playlist right there. Please do not forget to hit like and subscribe. You know what I haven't seen on any menu here in Colorado are prairie oysters. I hear they exist. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're an urban legend. I don't know. Comment below. Are prairie oysters a real thing? Even if they are a real thing, I don't think that's something that I would ever seek out to try. Gonna stick with the burgers.